Hey, welcome. It's the Friday wrap-up. Myself, Johnny Jensen, creator and founder of Team Superdad, and joining us on the wrap-up last week with an echo which failed miserably. I'll take responsibility for that. This week, we've done a sound check and we're all cool. Glen, aka the Dating Dad, good to have you here, sir.
Oh, lovely to be here and lovely to see you dancing as well. And the great thing is, it's like a silent disco because you can hear it in your headphone. I can't hear a thing, so all I can see you dancing. But yeah, not a thing going on in my head and my ears at the moment. So I'm not joining in just yet.
Yeah, here's the thing. Just because I can hear it in my ears doesn't mean it's going out. All the gear, no idea. But week by week, we do learn, we do evolve. And you know, it is actually an important message because lots of people don't even get started, so then you don't learn, you don't have the experiences. A guy in another awesome group on Facebook that I'm part of is called Tears of Freedom. It's like a wealth, manage your money, make money. He's got some business stuff tied in there as well, and he just shared.
It's not just about being in tier one then.
No, it's not passion.
Okay,
I know the guy Jason who created it. He's like, it was a really good name before anyone used the word tears, T-I-E-R-S, every day of their life. But no, he made it. He's on YouTube, and his videos he's on like on his 150th video or something like that, and he's gone from obviously one listener, which was his mum, right through watcher, viewer, right through to 500,000 views and this sort of stuff. And the difference between the first video and his video now is unbelievable. It's and that's how it should be. It should be.
It's not just his mum watching it 500,000 times.
Repeat. I love you so much.
It was something on Spotify when someone did that. They recorded about like 30 seconds or a minute of silence and then just asked all their fans to play it on loop while they sleep. And then they just got paid like a fortune in royalties just by their fans listening to nothing. I think that's genius. I think you game the system that way.
Absolutely. So listen, everyone, if you've not joined the wrap-up before, this is our celebration of the week that has just been. Episode 22, including 22.1 if you include Glen and I's food bar last week.
It was a rehearsal.
It was. My friend's nan used to think that the lunchtime neighbours was the practice for the 5:30. But anyway, if you've not watched the wrap-up before, this is the celebration of the week that's been, and if you're listening, of course, because you can be watching or listening, right? Zig Ziglar, I was listening to, I love Zig Ziglar, all this old stuff, and Jim Rohn, but I was listening this week, actually I think it was a Jim Rohn one, and he was talking about vision and the difference between that vision and goals. So vision being something that you like, it's a long way out there, but it's what excites you and it's what you live for. A goal is part of what you're doing towards that vision. And he took it right back to celebrating things that go well for us, because if we don't celebrate the journey along the way, all the highs and the lows, then how do we keep momentum up? How do we keep committed? How do we work towards our vision? So that's why we do the wrap up. It's also intended to be a little bit more fun than the conversation, the longer episode during the week.
I love it. And as you speak, my daughter is literally holding up signs. She just got back from school, and apparently there's some things outside. So yes, bring them in the house.
You do that.
Get them out of the rain. Do your thing. Earn your keep.
Brilliant.
I'm working the kids hard.
I know. Who said the Victorian ages were tough on kids? Come on.
It was character building. The Victorian age was the greatest age of this country's history, if you take out what we did. Kids need to learn their place.
Yeah, why can't kids mine coal or clean chimneys? Come on.
Exactly. They've been practicing playing bloody Minecraft for something long enough. They should know the skills by now.
There we go. Exactly. Who'd have thought if you told a Victorian about Minecraft, they'd be like, yeah, my kid works in the mine all day. What are you talking about? So on today's wrap-up, we are looking at Spotify or mixtapes, tiny gifts and other Amazon adventures. It's going to blow your mind when I show you that. Christmas traditions, good ones and bad ones. The best year ever, which is a preview of Monday's Dad Call, which is coming up, and something that I've done this week with a couple of different coaching groups. And it's about, literally auditing the year that's gone by and then kickstarting the new year. So it's a pretty cool thing. And then Do Dads Need Coaching, which is an interesting conversation and comes off the back of something that I got asked this week. And then finally, bit of a pushy parents conversation, swimming, karate, music, or swimming, karate, music, and the things that us parents force our kids to do. So thank you for joining us on the wrap up. It's about a half hour, 40-minute jaunt through all that. So good. So Spotify or mixtapes, right? If you go on Spotify, there are a couple of Team Superdad mixtapes, and being someone who's 46, child of the 80s, playing record on a Sunday night on the chart show, the idea
you missed the adverts as well. You got to miss the adverts, miss the DJ talking over the end as well. That was always the real fine line you had to tread.
Expertise. Yeah, I even got into splicing my tapes and stuff. I got a stereo for one birthday that had a high-speed dubbing feature on it, so you could turn a 90-minute tape into a 180-minute tape. Wow, that's what you knew.
I had some audiophile mates, and they used to go on and on about, oh no, you only want the short tapes because the quality on the longer tapes was isn't good. That's fine, and I kind of agree, but you must have been rich kids, because that meant you could have loads of tapes. I got one tape. I can afford one tape, and I need it to last as long as it possibly can, so I don't have to go out and buy loads of more ones.
Oh man, and the thing is, there's some context to that which we've lost because of the last week's episode. But when you were a youngster, you were like piled into your house with all your brothers.
Living as one of six. I've got a stepsister as well, so one of six with two adults and a massive dog sitting in some dodgy little 3-bedroom terrace council house in Walthamstow on a council estate. It was not exactly salubrious and luxurious growing up.
Exactly. And anyone who loves was it Derek and Clyde with the born in a barn, you lucky brothers, Monty Python. Was it Derek and Clyde or Monty Python?
Genuinely, when people say, "Oh yeah, what luxuries did you have?" Luxuries, we didn't have carpet. We had a telly that had been given to us that was black and white and yellow, because it was meant to be a color telly, but the other colors didn't work, which is why it had been thrown away, which is why we had it. This was not luxurious living, but I feel like I've come a long way now.
Yeah, definitely. So on Spotify or Mixtape, right? So there's a couple of Team Superdad mixtapes on Spotify, which I hope if you go and check out, if you search up Team Superdad on Spotify, they will come up
just to see how rubbish it is and take the piss.
As well as the podcast. Yeah, you are welcome to. But like Spotify does my nutting. I used to find music easier when I could go into record shops and stream music online, then go into a record shop or even HMV or somewhere. Especially living in London, they had lots of stuff, and then I would find artists on the back of compilations, or labels would do a best of like their label type thing. Ray and Christian and Grand Central, the record label up in Manchester. But on Spotify they just seem to feed me this. The algorithm kicks in, and I either get, I mean, it's quite nice sometimes because it gives me stuff that I already know I might be looking for, but I find it hard to unearth new music.
Do you? I find it a lot easier. When I had, I used to have a bit of a problem with, not a problem as such. That makes it sound more grand than it is. But, I'd go into HMV and I would find it impossible to leave there without a dozen albums. And so I built up this massive CD collection, which was brilliant and great, but it meant that you'd listen to them over and over and over again because you've got a finite number of records. Whereas now you've got access to everything, and I still have to think back to my old CD collection and think, okay, what did I have that I really enjoyed? It's hard to think of some of those old things, whereas normally you just kind of stumble along your collection and go, oh, I haven't listened to that for a while. But that being said, the algorithms, they really do work. There's these made for you ones, not just looking at ones you've already listened to loads, but where they take those that you've listened to loads and then give you other suggestions. I must have listened to about 3,500 new artists this year just because of random stuff that Spotify threw up at me.
Oh, I'm doing it wrong. There's something wrong.
And also, I always challenge my kids constantly to say, right, find new music. Give me something that you'd actually enjoy. And sometimes they do. Sometimes I'll message. My daughter's really into K-pop. And really weirdly, recently I've discovered a band called Baby Metal, who are a J-pop metal band. So imagine like K-pop female vocalists doing all sweet noises and so on, but with thrash metal in the background behind it. It is superb, and I would never have come near that if she hadn't said, oh, where's that playlist? And then I stumbled across a different playlist and then started listening to it, and then it just kind of blew out of the speakers at me. It was great.
And that is your music taste. What is it?
Almost everything.
Almost eclectic. Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm not a massive fan of country and western or a lot of modern R&B. Old school R&B I love, but modern R&B is just dull and repetitive. But yeah, pretty much anything and everything. So I can go from jazz to garage to metal to opera to ska to Motown to soul, whatever. I've got such varied taste that it means I'm very rarely bored, and it means that I've always got a different playlist to listen to, which wouldn't happen if all I had was what was on my shelves. Because I wouldn't necessarily know that something was good. I wouldn't want to spend 10, 20 quid on a random Japanese J-pop album if I had no idea who they were.
Yeah. Well, and we've just discovered how close we live to each other. This is like amazing as well. So we can totally like hang out and do music sessions. I just don't. Pretty much thrash metal is pretty much where I don't really go. I did have, in terms of metal, if any heavy metal fans would absolutely die when they hear me say this, but I did have a Def Leppard album, which I enjoyed when I was about 13 or 14. So that was about as close as I got into being a heavy metal fan. But apart from that...
But as much as I love Spotify, as much as I do love it, actually, over lockdown, I've started going back to my roots a little bit. Last year for Christmas, I bought myself a proper record player, quite a nice one. And I've nabbed a load of my dad's old vinyl and then bought myself some new vinyl. And it's really reignited my passion for certain albums. So I'm starting to build a collection of absolute seminal classics that you listen to over and over. Because when it's on a vinyl recording, you have to listen because you have to turn it over, which means I'm actually listening to the music a lot more than if it was just random Spotify shuffle going on in the background.
Exactly. I struggle with the word seminal because it sounds so much like
yeah, you've been going to the wrong sort of nightclubs if that's the distinction you're making.
Well, listen, on the subject of presents, check this out. I'm going to do people a disservice if they're listening to the podcast, right? Tiny gifts, okay? Tiny gifts and other Amazon adventures.
You're talking about little gifts that kind of don't mean anything.
Right, check this out. I'm holding up a piggy bank, right? My daughter.
Bring it closer to the camera. I can't really see it. It's a bit small. No, bring it closer to the camera so I can.
It's tiny. Here's a debit card next to it.
I mean, to describe it, it's literally could hide behind a credit card. And what is it?
True. It's a piggy bank. So my daughter dropped her piggy bank, and she's 9, right? So it's not like a piggy bank's her be all and end all. She's got a Rooster card as well, which, by the way, I love Rooster. Tried Go Henry and Rooster. I'm a Rooster fan. I'll put my affiliate link in the show notes. But yeah, so she bought us the piggy bank. And I'm trying to get stuff for the Father Christmas, what they call the sack thing, the stocking fillers. It's literally a perfect stocking filler because it's so bloody tiny. And but anyway, so that's going back.
I have to go that small though.
No, that's why it's cracked me up because
you expected it to be like a full size piggy bank that's kind of the size of a small football or something.
Yeah, like most piggy banks, like grapefruit size.
Whereas that's what, about a tennis ball or something like that?
No, not even. Well, probably is a tennis ball. Yeah, if you squish the tennis ball down a little bit, it probably is about that. But it's just that's £7 as well. I mean, you can decorate it again for the people listening rather than watching. Yeah, you can decorate it. But I have to confess, I bought nearly all my presents again on Amazon.
Ah, the great tax dodging giant that is Amazon. I wish I could sit here on my high horse, but you know what? It's 2020. I've done the same. Just about everything has been Amazon. Just because you can't go out and randomly walk around the shops at a minute, so it's just way easier to have it all delivered.
Yeah, well, other people deliver, by the way.
Well, they do, but so often with all the other ones, what happens now is what happened with Amazon years ago. So I remember, I don't know, it must have been about 10 years ago. Amazon was a thing, but it wasn't the giant that it is today. I've always been a firm advocate for digital, and it's my job, my love, and my passion. And I managed to convince my brother for the first year to do his Christmas shopping online. I said, mate, it's so easy. You can get loads of stuff, have it delivered. And he ordered it sort of mid-November. Not a single gift turned up by Christmas Day. It all turned up in sort of January, February time. I've ruined online shopping for him for a decade.
Forever. Yeah, it's true. During lockdown, I bought some clothes. Normally buy clothes quite often for the kids in Morrison's because their kids brand lasts really well. They're kind of grown out of it now. But Took 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
I'm okay to give them a little bit of lockdown grace, but I was like, guys, Amazon
Yeah,
will
I
have
mean,
it in 48 hours.
I mean, that's why I got Amazon Prime, because it is just so much quicker to get everything.
It's like,
You get used to that level of service, and if I'm going to some random shop in the middle of, like up the high street, I don't know if they're going to turn it up on time. They're going to charge me for delivery. Will it turn up at all? And if it is, what's going to be packaged like? Whereas Amazon, as awful as the tax things are, and I do want to have a word with Jeff about that. Next time I speak to him, I'm going to give him a kick. But take the tax things out of the equation. They're the best for a reason. And so yeah, they just do a job, don't they?
It's just beautiful. So why don't they all work like that? So Anna, so that will go back, and I will try and find you another one.
Have you actually finished all your Christmas shopping?
Pretty much. The only thing I had to get was the kids' pajamas, which we do before we do like one present. I only allow one present before Christmas Day.
Free Christmas presents, do you?
Well, I never used to when we were kids, but when they were babies, somehow or other, we started a family tradition, which kind of comes from America, from family in America. So they get a new set of Christmas pajamas, well, not even Christmas pajamas, but they get a new pair of pajamas on Christmas Eve. So they wear the new pajamas to bed, and they wake up in the morning. They got new pajamas, and
my old man started doing that. He comes around with a box. No, obviously he can't this year, but he normally comes around with a box. In the box is exactly that, plus a Christmas movie and some popcorn, maybe some sweets or something like that. So he wants to shove sugar in their face on Christmas.
Now go to bed. I'm off to the pub. You put the sugar charged kids to bed,
Yeah, so they do the same sort of thing. But as far as I'm concerned, no. Christmas Day is what it is, and that's that. In fact, kind of, we've got a thing when they've got their stockings they open in their bedrooms, and they're not allowed downstairs until I'm awake, and then they're not allowed to open a single present until I've got a cup of tea. And I don't now they're older. I don't have to make that tea myself. That's that's pure bribery, and then it all goes to hell.
Yeah, if you got 16 down to 9, right?
Down to 7.
Down to 7. So the 7-year-old's like, "Would you not wake up?
Yeah.
I see you need to open my father Christmas presents."
Although I think it's probably the eldest that wakes up earliest, to be honest. I think she really wants to get everyone up and ready and excited, because she knows what's probably downstairs.
What I say to my guys, because the Father Christmas question comes up, right? And this is the Christmas tradition section of our little running order. Father Christmas questions come up, and as far as I'm concerned, Christmas is way better with Father Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm just going, guys, I'll happily have that conversation if you're ready for it. But just so you know, it's not going to change the point that Christmas is way better than Father Christmas. And quite honestly, I believe in Father Christmas because I've no bloody idea how I afford it each year. So there's some kind of miracle going on.
Oh, I did that this year. I got all their presents, and I'm not going to say too much because my oldest is home from school and she's sitting over there listening in. But I did get all their presents, unwrap them from their Amazon boxes. Christ, there's a lot of Amazon boxes. Unwrapped them, spread them out, and realised it doesn't balance out. So I've had to be topping up here, there, and everywhere. It's been a bloody nightmare.
Yeah. Good you mentioned Christ as well over Christmas.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm I'm very much the other way around. This is purely a celebration of capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. And here's a serious point about Christmas, right? Which I do try in the wrap up to make some serious points. Some families row every year. They row, and that just breaks my heart, because Christmas in my family, and I'm sure I didn't see the rows that went on at Christmas, but it's always been such a happy time. Always been such a happy time. Whether it's my family in America, whether it's my family here, it's just joyous. It's silly. The presents work. It's Father Christmas presents in the morning. It's lunch. It's a walk. It's family presents after lunch. It just works. And my only memory of it is being fun. And I was talking with one of my dad coach clients, one of the dads I coached this week, and it was about the arguments that he has with his partner generally, but apparently pretty much every Christmas. So it was about what could they do to make a commitment for Christmas that they weren't going to sweat the small stuff. That if there was no batteries for the flipping whatever Tonka toy, whatever, I've got memories in my mind of that white truck thing that you used to program the numbers in the back. Yeah. And if there's no batteries, there's no batteries. We'll work it out. We'll get some, but not to whose fault is it? Why is this blooming happened? Because, find reasons to laugh. Like if something goes wrong, make a commitment to just laugh about it with each other, because as well as it's not the memory we want to leave our kids, it's like you've worked all year towards this event, and not literally, but it is pretty much the culmination of the year, a celebration of all things that are happening in our family. If you're religious, then there's that side of it as well, but it should be a family event. And
it should be, but it's so tough for so many people for so many different reasons. I mean, not least of which financially. And this year, more than any other year, so many people have been hit so hard by the corona and by furlough and so on, that financial pressures are massive. And now's the time of year when people want to share the joy. They want to share look at all the presents my kids have got, and look at all the fun things we're doing, all the food we're eating, the drink we're drinking. And then you've got other people who can barely afford their rent, and they feel, should I be what can I give up myself in terms of my own health and well-being in order to provide just one more present for my kids? And so the pressures on people are massive, and that really doesn't help. And I mean, for me as well, there's other things that go on at this time of year. I haven't got into my background too much, but I'm fairly open about it. Over the Christmas period several years ago was when my wife was having an affair. And so every year at this point, there's all those throwback sort of things that trigger things for me. So there's always a bit of emotional stress. And to top that off now, we shared children 50-50, which means this year, I'm not going to have my kids on Christmas Eve. I'm not going to see them Christmas morning or eat Christmas dinner with them. I don't get them back till the evening of Christmas Day, which is, I'm looking forward to that. But everything.
Have you got a plan for that day?
Yeah, well, I have. I'm going to be drinking heavily until the very early hours whilst I do my wrapping, hopefully sleeping through and having a hangover for the morning. And then instead of Christmas dinner, because that for me is a fun celebration thing, I'm going to do a massive Christmas fry up for my Christmas dinner. And eat and drink. I was invited around my sister's house, but for three reasons I've decided not to go. Firstly, because loads of people are going, and we're not allowed to, and so there's too many households and all that sort of thing. Secondly, she charges 40 quid a head for the food. I mean, I can feed my entire family for Christmas dinner for 40 quid.
Is this a skit? Like, there's a punchline coming here? That's what actually happened.
No, absolutely. Every person she charges 40 quid to feed them Christmas dinner. It's like, Christ, fuck off. But then the final one is the more serious one of, I don't want to be around my family and everyone with their kids and being all happy and joyful, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to get sad because I haven't got my kids. And so this year I'm going to spend Christmas Day, Christmas morning all by myself. Feeling sorry for myself, drinking heavily, but not too heavily, because I have the kids back in the afternoon, evening. So I've got to be sober enough to look after them and open their presents and eat and drink a lot more.
Oh man, that's so. There's two messages here. Is if you're still in the relationship, then clearly work it out between you. Find out if one of you's having an affair. That's a good thing to do. Check that out. just ask, right? just wondering. Second of all, if that's not happening, really commit to having a laugh. Like whatever goes wrong, just having a laugh about it. And then then there's families that I know not got much money this year. We sent a guy last year. He had no carpet. Similar story. And then the Team Superdad community, Daniel Latto actually led that charge, pulling in his community as well. And we raised about 800 quid. Wow. A guy was in Wales.
Oh, awesome.
The week before Christmas, we got his house carpeted. And he had like £200 to go and spend on presents for his 3 kids. And then I spoke to a church that was in his town, and not surprisingly, they were doing a Christmas Day thing for underprivileged families. So he took his kids down there, and it was just an amazing, like I said, kudos to Daniel Latto for really encouraging that. But I think from that, parents that are struggling, of course, there's food banks and situations that have been a real blessing to people, but I guess there won't be so much of the pop along to your church and things, but meet up. I know there's a lot of.
We'll be here, and I think it's not just about physical meeting up. Even if you can't go out, even if you feel, you know what, because of the virus and so on, I'm going to have to stay indoors by yourself. You're not by yourself. There's going to be so many of us out there, single parents and just friends and so on, who are going to be online. They're going to be on Facebook and Twitter and so on. Reach out, have those chats
on Zoom. There's on Meetup. You can search out all number of whatever you are in a band, in a church, in a Monopoly lovers. There's meetups on the meetup.com website, and they're going to be having hangouts. I know Fathers' Rights UK are having a big hangout. There's been some talk about doing something on the Team Super Dad community if there's enough interest to do that for an hour on Christmas Day afternoon. So basically, just make the effort. Just whatever's going on for you. This is a message to people watching and listening: is make the call now and try and schedule something. So one way or another, you at least get to see some other people on a screen, on a laptop, on your phone, and have a giggle, have a beer with someone.
Yeah, wake up, dress up as well. Get yourself up, get yourself dressed, and get yourself ready for Christmas. I mean, I'm sitting here sporting my my old school. This is old school Moussa Dembele.
It is Moussa Dembele with a blue hat.
From I'm a big Spurs fan, and I still listen to a podcast called The Fighting Cock. If you are a Spurs fan or you just like good, funny, random football chat, it's one of the best out there. And yeah, they just got the least Christmassy picture of him they possibly could and stuck a ball out. Love it.
You do look a bit like Flav, by the way.
Flav, that is a sexy bastard. So I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay. Well, listen, running off the back of that subject about Christmas Day and hanging out with people, on Monday night, so bi-weekly, I do something called the Dad Call. And a Dad Call is a completely free meetup for dads. And to be quite honest, it's a men's meetup. We're not going to chuck anyone out if they haven't got any kids, right? So it's particularly in this time that's going on now, people just need to hang out, have a chat and a laugh, then that's what it's for. We've talked about silly things like being in a band and what beers we don't like drinking and why we don't like drinking them. Because it's easy to talk about your favourite beer, but we had a conversation a bit like, what's your least favourite beer and why? I struggle with Beck's because I went to a student union one night after having 2 buckets, and I had a packet of cheese snips and some Beck's. And so the cheese snips were like eating sand. It all went dry in my mouth, and I washed it down with Beck's and then had a white tea and threw up.
Classic student. Yeah.
So I struggled with Beck's for a long time after that. But so there's some of the things we talk about in the Dad Call. But we've also had people talk literally about, well, you mentioned there about the affair. We've had people say, I think my wife's having an affair. We've had people talk about child court and that side of things. We've had people talk about money as well. So literally, the Dad Call is free. If you go to teamsuperdad.com/dad call, so that's teamsuperdad.com/dad call, then you can literally, I'll put the ticker on because the URL's on there as well. You can sign up for the Dad Call. And the reason I say sign up is not because it's paid or anything like that, but just we need to make sure people are coming in who are supposed to come in because it is private. It's not streamed. It's not recorded. It's a safe space for dads to hang out and chat. This Monday, I'm going to do something called the Best Year Ever, which is a coaching process. It's 10 questions. He holds up one hand. 10 questions, both hands. And it's the first few questions are about how this year's gone. And the second set of questions are about next year, the roles that you want to take on, the goals that you've got, and tactics to achieve those goals. So, people go on about these old plan your year, like what should we and goal setting, and all that's great. But this is it's a 60-minute process, and it's easy and fun, especially there's a group of us doing it. So we'll have a laugh and do that. So get over to teamsuperdad.com/dad call and get involved in Monday night's Dad Call. It starts at 8 o'clock, normally runs about an hour.
Excellent. I love the chat about vision and goals, because having a vision without having goals is the slowest way to get to success, and having goals without a vision is the quickest way to failure. So having both of those is what you need to have in place.
Oh, I like that, Glenn. We'll get that on a t-shirt or some sort of poster.
About guys helping other guys out is you can I don't know about you, but I love the ability with my mates to switch. 1 minute you can be taking the piss out of them, really being brutally funny and really aggressive about something, and then the next minute you just change gear and it's into something serious again. And guys are just able to understand when to joke and when to be serious. And so whatever it is, whether you just need a laugh or whether you need something a bit more serious, that sounds like the sort of place to do it to me anyway. I've not dialed in myself.
Yeah, we'll get involved. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like you said there. And I don't know, it's amazing that men obviously I'm not a woman, so I don't know if they're as good at this as us, but that ability, particularly if a friend, like imagine I'm going and visiting some old mates of mine, and then you come along with me. Well, the fact that we've hit it off enough that you're there with me, it means that you're probably pretty like-minded with my mates as well. So men can just slip into a new group of lads and get straight into the banter. And like you say, the piss taking can, especially if half your mates are Scousers, the piss taking can start almost instantly without it being, offensive or taken as offensive.
And most of us have got this universal language around football, which means you've always got, even if you hate football, even if you're a rugby person or a cricket person or whatever, you've always got an opinion on it. And so you use that as your initial point, you work out where your boundaries are with everyone, and then bang, you're into it. And you've always got that thing to rotate around, which is lovely.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Team Super Dad is in essence a large part of that as well, because there is the coaching around the key areas of focus, fitness, finance, and family. But the fifth element is fun, and the reason for that is too many dads are not having as much fun as they should.
Very true. Very true. We're under so much pressure and so on. And pressure, some of it we put on ourselves, and some of it is on this changing role of being a dad in society. Because, when look at our dads, my dad, he's still relatively young. He's 60. But his generation of dad, I genuinely don't think he's changed a nappy in his life. And he's got 4 kids he's growing up, and God knows how many grandchildren, but he's never changed a nappy. He doesn't do all that sort of stuff, and so he's not in tune with the kind of emotional side of things and so on. He's just he'll go down to football, he'll have a beer, and he'll talk about that sort of stuff. But he's not so much of the touchy feely things. Whereas dads, single dads especially, because we haven't got anyone else to do anything with. But any dad, any man who wants to not just be a lads, lager, we're making it up as we go along. And we need sometimes just to talk to someone and say, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. We want to be asking, am I right? Of course you're right in thinking and feeling whatever you want, but am I thinking the right things, or what else could I be thinking of? What other questions? What other ideas have you got? And so I think coaching for anyone, especially, is useful, but especially when dads are changing so constantly, the role of a dad is changing. That having other people to talk to is absolutely bloody vital, and we just don't do it enough.
Yeah, you get stuck in that whole internal dialogue of, am I okay? Is this right? Is this wrong? Am I okay? Is she this? Is she that? Is the kids this or that? And never let it out. So you go slowly mad. Yeah, absolutely. Just going slowly mad. So just finally, right, a friend of ours on a kids class today, her daughter, she just posted on Facebook, her daughter's just got to her black belt with a white sash. Apparently you can't get to black belt until you're a certain age. So this daughter of hers is a badass. She's in my daughter. She's 1 year above my daughter, so she's 10. She's got a black belt, which made me think, because I took my kids swimming on Wednesday for their last swimming lesson before Christmas. The usual, I don't want to go swimming. Of course we get there. I don't want to get out. Yeah. So, are you a pushy dad? Have you pushed your kids into things? Are they child geniuses?
No. Well, my kids are. Everyone thinks their kids are above average, and half of us are right. Yeah. I don't know quite how far above average they are, but they're all right. So I know they've got skills and abilities and interests. But I'm very much someone who wants to give them loads of experiences and see which ones they like. I wasn't a massive footballer. I love football, but I never kind of played for a semi-pro side or something, or had trials. And every dad on the touchline said, "Yeah, I had trials." I didn't. No. And going canoeing or hiking or cooking or whatever, all the things that I enjoy doing now, I learned myself over time. I didn't have a dad growing up really to show me these things. So my kids, I haven't got things to force them into, but they are getting into things. So my oldest boy, he does football. He's a pretty decent footballer, plays with his mates. My youngest son's just started MMA. That's because his childminder's son does it. And he's got nunchucks and stuff. And I think my boy has looked at him and thought, yeah, I want a bit of that. And so my boy's he's got his first grading this weekend, which I'm really excited about. And hopefully he doesn't, either kill someone or kill himself. But my girls are a bit more difficult.
Girls, they don't do MMA.
No, that's the thing. They could, and I'd love them to. Totally. My youngest daughter, over lockdown, she decided to teach herself piano. So she's been doing a lot of that. And now she's got ukulele classes. So I think she's a bit more of the musical drawing and art side of things. But my eldest, K-pop or a Korean sitcom, she's not interested in anything. So it's really, really tough and tricky to work out, how can I give you some sort of passion, something you care about, even if you hate it now. When you're older, you'll say, yeah, I'm glad you made me do that.
Yeah. But at 16, that flipping, well, I say at 16, that what's they call that, horses bolted, that shippers sailed kind of thing. But I mean, she's got a passion though. That's the worry, is if your kids haven't got anything that they're interested in. And by the sounds of it, obviously your music, we spoke about this at the beginning, your music, you're motivated, inspiring them to go off and discover music. And so you've got that inside your family as something that you enjoy. And I always say to my kids, this was always the intention, whether we were still in our relationship or not, is that my kids are going to be into something.
Yeah.
They're going to be in a band, they're going to be in football, they're going to be, because one way or another, that means they're not on their own.
Oh, totally.
When my boy goes to secondary school, he will know, whatever secondary school he ends up at, didn't pass his 11 plus, but whatever secondary school he ends up at, because he's played football since he was 6 years old, there'll be 20, 30 kids at least who he recognises and will just be like, all right, how's it going? Even if it's just an awkward nod on day one, it's a good chance that they're going to become friends. And he's not going to be left in the corner at,
But it can be really expensive if they don't work it out what they want to do. So my oldest boy, he did say, Dad, I want to be in a band. I said, okay, then that's fine. What do you want? And he went off and got some drum lessons and so on. I bought him a drum kit. He's played it twice. Then he's like, yeah, no, I don't want. I might want to do guitar. So he's got a guitar. And now it just sits down there on the side of the thing. And you end up thinking, right, I want to give you everything I possibly can to inspire you and give you. So you can never say, I could have been a concerto pianist, but I never had the
Get him a harmonica. You can be a one-man band.
Yeah. But yeah, I want you to do something. I want you to find something that you love. And just that isn't. I'm trying to. I force them to watch movies. A lot of movies. Every week is at least one classic movie. So I'm hoping that I'm inspiring a love of cinema in them, even if they don't end up going out and doing stuff.
So here's a perfect way to end. Then, what has been that movie this week? What was the most recent movie?
Bugsy Malone.
Oh, good classic.
Absolutely brilliant. It's one of those things where I hate musicals, but there's a handful of them which I absolutely adore. What was that?
How old are they? They must have seen Bugsy Malone already.
No, he hadn't. They had never seen it.
Oh,
there's a lot of movies that I've been kind of saving and kind of opening up and sharing with them as they go. Three Men and a Baby.
Yeah. 80s classic. Classics, yeah.
I think the next one I'm thinking, you might actually have some advice on this. Do you think 7 is too young for Gremlins? Because that's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. It is a Christmas movie. It's quite scary. I've dropped a couple of clangers like that before. A bit awkward. No, it's too early. I tried to watch Dumb and Dumber. Clearly one of the funniest movies ever.
Yes, absolutely.
They just weren't ready for it. They're like, Dad, this is
crap. Man.
The bit we turned it off when they were pissing in bottles and got pulled over and the policeman drank it. And that's when I thought,
that's funny. That's really funny.
But I think when I was a kid, I must have been around 10 when I was watching Blazing Saddles on videos and stuff. But yeah, we do have to just check in. Uncle Buck, a family classic.
Oh no, that really is a great classic, yeah.
But there's a couple of bits there which are kind of kissing and a bit sort of, early teen sort of thing. I think that's what we forget is when does early teen kick in, basically. Okay, good. So we can have this conversation as well. We're on the same wavelength movie-wise. Bugsy Malone. The big ending, Jodie Foster's first movie appearance as well, by the way,
and the debut of Dexter Fletcher as well as Babyface. It's so good, yeah. And the music, I didn't realize all the music was actually sung by the same person. Obviously, a male and female, but all the different characters were sung by adult actors and actresses. But it was all by the same person, and so as I realized that, all the songs actually sound a little bit the samey now.
Oh, didn't know that.
Quality. Yeah, I recommend having a look.
One movie, so we'll finish on this, right? One movie that didn't stand the test of time, and I watched it again, I was a bit gutted it wasn't quite as good as I remembered it, was Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend at Bernie's. It didn't stand the test of time quite so well, but if I squinted my eyes a bit, it was still as funny. But
well, I need an example, a recommendation for a movie for the kids to watch this coming week. So answers on a postcard.
Okay, are we going Christmas themed or not?
Christmas theme's ideal, but not necessarily.
Okay, yeah. Christmas Chronicles is a great new one, and Christmas Chronicles 2, of course, which
What,
actually,
Netflix Prime or something?
yeah, Netflix. Christmas Chronicles and Christmas Chronicles 2.
I shall give it a go. We'll crack on with that and add it to the list of movies that absolutely have to be watched before Christmas. Top of which, so you've got Muppets Christmas Carol, Home Alone. Home Alone 2 is not bad as well.
Scrooge with Bill Murray.
I see, and this is a controversial statement. You're going to kick me off the show now, but Scrooged, meh. Muppets Christmas Carol is so much better than Scrooged. Okay. And for me, the pièce de résistance is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Best that is controversial. Okay, best Christmas movie.
Yeah.
As a piece in the National Lampoon's.
Oh, ignore the rest of it.
Okay.
But no, just that one
doesn't hold up against the rest of the National Lampoon's series. It's too silly. Oh gosh, this is a good chat. We're gonna roll this over to next week. Yeah, maybe we'll do. Can we do a wrap up? We can't do a wrap up on Christmas Day.
Well, next week Friday is Christmas Day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you, just for you to finish, I am gonna do some kind of Christmas Day check-in with the Team Superdad community and gang. It could be on a Zoom call. It could be on a wrap up like this. We might do a drinking game. We might do a
let's be honest.
Back from the brink. Any dads that are on their own, we'll do a back from the brink special and have some giggles. So wherever you're at, dads, we're here for you. Team Superdad community on Facebook hit 150 members this week, and so we're looking to push that to 250 over Christmas. The teamsuperdad.com website. If you're really in trouble and just need someone, then DM me, message me, call me, find out a way to get in contact with me. I'm here for you. But if you are interested in either the Hero Academy, which the new intake of is happening in January, then check out the Hero Academy on the website, or one-on-one dad coaching, which is always available. Just go to the dad coaching page. Glenn, good to see you, buddy.
As always, yeah, lovely to see you too. And speak to a few more people and get to know the community a bit more.
Nice one. And hopefully no echo. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to give us a review, and everybody, whether you're listening or sharing, send this to your friends, to other dads, and get them involved with the Team Superdad. Team Superdad out. Bye.